Now, it just goes to show you there's always a positive experience from every situation. If you're just tuning into our show, you're just in time to catch our final story on today's episode. It focuses on the life of baby Jada Fairman and how a complete stranger saved her life. Let's take a final look at our story by producer Kelly Smith.
Last October, baby Jada Fairman and Claremont Humphrey had never met. Then Claremont gave Jada a gift that saved her life.
I first found out about her condition or what she may have, I would say, 5 days after she was born. So what happened was we got a clean bill of health from the hospital. They said, we have a healthy baby girl. We went home the very next day. I was at home, and then I think by day 3, she started to become jaundiced. Her eyes were a little yellow, just a little. And I was like, okay, I wasn't worried because I hear about babies becoming jaundiced all the time. And so I went to Sick Kids. They took her in, they kept monitoring her. And at about 11 weeks, they diagnosed her with biliary atresia.
Biliary atresia is a liver disease. It appears in young children, and usually it becomes evident shortly after birth. What it is really is a malformation of the sort of bile duct. So what happens, the bile that is made in the liver cannot be drained, and it damages the liver.
My cousin Ashley, she sent me an email basically with Jada's story and trying to raise awareness because it's hard finding an organ donor. So I just posted the same email that she sent to me on my Facebook. I only expected people to respond by saying, "Oh, that's so sad. I'm praying for her. Tell her she's in my prayers."
I was not paying much attention until I saw it on my son's Facebook, read it in depth, and then understood that, there's something here that I need to investigate. I remember when I made the decision or actually obeyed the voice of God to be a donor, I told no one what I was going to do until I got word from the hospital saying that it's a go.
At first I was like, this guy's a madman. He's not going to show up. Like, he's not blood type O, like, as far as I knew, which was obviously not a lot. And he went and he got himself checked, and he was a match. And I was like, whoa. It began to get real when Dad asked me to give his number to Melissa.
And he called and he was like, guess what? I'm O positive. And he was so excited, and I was excited. I was like, wow, the fact that he was so excited made me excited. When we went into Sick Kids, it was almost like a whole new family, because now you're in a place where mothers and parents, it's like they can understand what you're going through.
Yeah! Good girl! Good job!
Friends would call sometimes and be like, their kid has a cold, and they're like, oh, devastated. I'm thinking, I wish it was just a cold, like basically my daughter, she doesn't get a transplant soon, might not live.
I did not understand that the liver actually hurts because it's been cirrhosis, so that means it's almost like somebody is cutting you, and the wound is just hard and callous and is growing within her, so she was in a lot of discomfort.
The hospital for sick kids started to become a very familiar place for Jada. The family spent close to 5 months collectively at the hospital, where 3 of those months, Jada waited patiently for her liver transplant.
The night before her transplant, a bunch of my family came over, my grandmother, some of my aunts, my cousins, and we had worship in the hospital room, making a pure noise, and it was amazing. Even the nurses were like, oh my gosh, it's so nice that you have such, a great family support, but we were like making noise, and they didn't even bother us. They were just like, do you.
For me, the day before was like exciting, it was calming, it was a mixture of emotions, but none of fear.
I don't think I slept very well, because I was just like, it's like anxiety, you're nervous, you're scared, you're happy, all these emotions going. And then in the morning, we woke up and they were like, okay, we're taking her down. I think I got teary then. It wasn't because of the surgery coming up, but it was because she wanted to hug me, and I had to like pull her off me and lay her down. I think that's what hurt me the most.
Basically, you have 2 operations side by side. You will prepare the recipient, the one who needs the liver, and then you will start operating on the live donor, and you will remove a piece of the liver. As I said, if it's a baby, you will take a smaller piece of the liver.
She was in the OR for pretty much like 12 hours. And then she went to critical care. I tell you, you're happy knowing that she had her chance when the doctor came out to the waiting room to give us the okay, that it all went well, and you know, the liver started functioning right after they put it in and all that. But seeing her, it was just like, wow. She didn't look like Jada. No more yellow eyes, like things we take for granted. Seeing her with white eyes is one of the best things about the surgery. It might sound silly, but I think even though her stomach was getting big and all these things, she was still a baby, but whenever you looked in her eyes, you knew something was wrong. And that was the constant reminder that my child is not well.
It really didn't hit me until I went after to see him in the hospital. And I've never really seen my dad in any type of vulnerable state. I mean, every child who's been fortunate enough to know their father, you know, usually thinks that their father is like, you know, Superman, or like, you know, no one could beat up my dad or something like that. And like to actually go in and see him and with all the tubes in his arms and his nose, and I kind of choked up. I didn't like it, you know? I don't like to see the ones that I love in vulnerable states, really.
In December of 2008, Jada was discharged from Sick Kids Hospital and was finally allowed to live a healthy childhood.
Jada, as the last time I seen her, was doing excellent. She's doing very well. Her mom told me that they told her that she was free to now eat any and everything because she was on a restricted diet. So that tells you she's doing exceptionally well. And I spoke to the mom recently, and you can hear her playing in the background. So that tells you, man, she has the life that any little child needs to have.
Day to day, it's great. She's just like a busybody. Now that she's walking, she's a walking professional. She's opening cupboards, emptying drawers, things like that. Keeps me busy, I must say. So it's great.
When I did see her, she doesn't wear the nose thing anymore. And like most of her life, she's been hooked up to machinery or wires in her nose or something, like, you know, something medical. But now she doesn't need any of that, you know. She's gaining weight too, so she's like, I remember the first time I picked her up, I'm like, damn, you're heavy. But like, she's cute, man. She's smiling with the family. She's doing really, really well right now. So she's good to go.
That was such a heartwarming story. Well, that's it for this week's episode of The Journal, but make sure you tune into next week's because it's the last episode of the season and we have a bunch of great stories. So as promised, Paul will be playing for us one more time. Paul, take it away.